Charles Evan Hughes. Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, Charles Evan Hughes had an extraordinary public career. In addition to serving as Chief Justice in 1930 to 1941, he was New York Governor, Supreme Court Justice, Republican presidential candidate, Secretary of State, and World Court Judge. He was born on April 11, 1862, in Glens Falls, New York, and died on August 27, 1948. After only 3.5 years of formal schooling, he graduated from high school at the age of 13. After graduating Phi Beta Kappa from Brown University, Hughes went to Columbia Law School, where he ranked first in his class, and he received a law degree with honors from Columbia University in Law School in 1884. He was then appointed to the Supreme Court by President William Howard Taft, a position from which he resigned in the summer of 1916 to run for president against incumbent Woodrow Wilson as the candidate for the Republican Party. As Secretary of State in the Harding and Coolidge administrations, Hughes negotiated a separate peace treaty with Germany when the Senate failed to ratify the Treaty of Versailles. As Chief Justice, Hughes led the Supreme Court during one of its most difficult periods. He presided over the court's transformation of its basic role from defender of property of rights to protector of civil liberties, writing the period's landmark opinions on freedom of speech and press near v. Minnesota, the Supreme Court landmark cases, Korematsu versus United States. The petitioner is Fred Korematsu, and the respondent country is the United States. The court case happened in California, San Leandro, during October 10th to 11th, 1944, and had been decided on December 18th, 1944. The court found that the government had met its burden because this discrimination against the Japanese in this case served the government's military concerns about the possibility of Japanese spies. During World War II, Presidential Executive Order 9066 and congressional statutes give the military authority to exclude citizens of Japanese ancestry from areas deemed critical to national defense and potentially vulnerable to espionage. Korematsu remained in San Leandro, California, and violated Civilian Exclusion Order No. 34 of the United States Army. The court sided with the government and held that the need to protect against espionage outweighed Korematsu's rights. Justice Black argued that the compulsory exclusion, though constitutionally suspect, is justified during circumstances of emergency and peril. The court decided that the exclusion order did not violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. While the justices acknowledged that all legal restrictions which curtail the civil rights of a single racial group are immediately suspect, they determined that such restrictions were not necessarily unconstitutional. The court ruled that even though the exclusion order only targeted a specific racial group, it was not based on hostility towards those of Japanese ancestry. Rather, it was because military authorities did not have the time or resources to efficiently separate those who were disloyal from those who were loyal, that all people of Japanese ancestry as a group were subject to the exclusion order. If the exclusion order had not been based solely on racial prejudice, however, it would be unquestionably unconstitutional.